Good morning, viewers. You're welcome to NasTvAfrica, an online mentorship platform to manifest the greatness of Africa, to unleash our potentials, and to celebrate our heroes and heroines. This is a platform that will be created by dedicated African youth in order to serve you better. Today marks the 60th anniversary of Nigeria, and we are privileged, honored to have in our midst a veteran academic and an outstanding father, a businessman par excellence, and is an educationist, is an engineer, and a builder par excellence. Please, round of applause. Thank you very much. Sir, I'm sure if we are to pay to have you on this kind of platform, I'm sure we cannot afford it. But because of your love for the youth of Nigeria, of African, to develop themselves, to unleash their potential, that's why you abandon all your tight schedule to be with us. It's so much appreciated, sir.
Thank you very much.
Sir, before we go further, we would like you to know that this is a platform that is being viewed all over the world by Africans, by Europe, Asian. They are watching us, and we're celebrating. And coincidentally, NasTvAfrica is launching today. It's doing its launching today, and coincidentally with the 60th anniversary of Nigeria. Oh, it's so touching, and we are very proud that we are having a date with Giant of Africa. Sir, can Nigerians and Africans meet you? They want to know the person we are having now.
Well, thank you very much. Let me start by saying I am very, very proud for being invited to your studio to mark the anniversary of Nigerian independence. And I will say that actually I'm here to really support all the efforts you have been making to try to mentor young Nigerians. And I just want to say I'm very happy about it. I'm very encouraged, and we must support you in any way we can.
Thank you.
So it's part of that support that I'm here today to add my little quota to your efforts of mentoring young Nigerians.
Thank you very much. Let me quickly say this. We have in our midst Professor Adeyemi Suleyman, the former Vice-Chancellor of Futminna. The youth have been asking me, the moment we send your profile out there that we are hosting you, a lot of people have been waiting, they have been asking questions that, wow, they can't wait. And most of your alumni from Futminna, they are so eager to hear from from their alma mater. And the first question, sir, that they like to know is that what actually inspired you to go into academics at that younger age?
Okay, thank you very much. I think let me give a little bit of my background, my educational background. Yes, I had my secondary school in October Grammar School, and in those days, you spent 5 years in secondary school, and as part of the Northern Nigerian at that time, you had to take what we call an HSC entrance examination that will allow you to go to 2-year program for HSC. And at that time, there are not many secondary schools undertaking the higher school certificate. At that time, there were very few schools like Barua, Barua at that time, Okene Secondary School, Okene Secondary School, Government College, Kefi, and I think those are, and then of course Science School in Lagos. And so we take the entrance exam, and which was the school start for Ghana then, because Ghana were having the exam in June. So we took the exam, and then whoever passes will either be look and I'll be taken to one of the secondary schools. I did maths, physics, or physics, chemistry, maths, physics, chemistry, and my intention was to hopefully be posted to science, emerging science secondary school, emerging school we called it at that time, in Lagos. And my ambition as a secondary school leaver was to do medicine. But after the exam, which I passed, I was then posted to Okene Secondary School, which was not offering physics, chemistry, biology at the advanced level. Now I had a dilemma whether to take up the offer or to wait another year and see whether I will be posted to, say, science school, where I could take physics, chemistry, biology. But then I thought to myself, well, one thing is ambition, and one thing is what God directs you. So I decided to take up that offer, Okene Secondary School. I did maths, physics. So which means you are going in the direction of engineering. And so I had, I was able to pass, my HSC exams, and I was admitted to ABU to study engineering. And even at ABU, I initiated interest because we had a very good physics teacher who was a British retired, officer that was teaching us physics. And of course, he interested us in electrical engineering. And so obviously my first choice when I got to ABU was to do electrical engineering. But then at that time there are so many scholarships that people get, and I happened to be opportune to be offered Nigerian Railway Corporation scholarship.
Wow.
And Zaria, the Nigerian Railway Corporation has its district headquarters in Zaria.
Okay.
And so in taking up the scholarship, I then decided let me get to the headquarters in Zaria. I may find out who is the general manager of Nigerian Railway Corporation. Which profession makes you get to that position?
Wow.
And I was told it's civil engineering.
Wow.
So I had to get back to my university and say, look, I'm going to change from electrical to civil.
Wow.
So that's how I, did BSc Civil Engineering at Ahmadu Bello University. Now, after finishing, of course, I had to go to start my employment with Nigerian Railway Corporation, and they had a very good program of training young engineers. I was sent to India, for about 7 months, and sent on attachment to Indian Railways. Then the following 6 months, I was sent to the British Railways.
Wow.
The purpose of Indian Railways is to undergo training on, semi-mechanical, semi-automatic methods of running the railway system. And of course, again sent to UK to be able to undergo where you have automation of everything that we are doing in the railways. Now, but at that time, there were too many opportunities. Once you do very well in your final exam or the BSc level, I was fortunate to have an upper, through run. And so there are many offers. And I applied for, they call it is international scholarships that you normally just indicate interest, and I just fill the form, and in the place of choice, I said you have to choose 3 countries. They were calling foreign scholarships. So I filled United States of America, United States of America, United States of America.
Wow.
For the and then you go through the Nigerian screening process. Then they will send your application to the country of your choice, and then you go to another screening process in the country of your choice.
Wow.
And then they offer you. There are many methods.
Okay.
At that time, the American approach, they had the African American Institute.
Wow.
That was handling the scholarship on behalf of American government. And so they had a committee of deans of engineering. Committee of deans, not of engineering. Committee of deans of various universities, American universities. And they opted to now come to Africa. In fact, we were about the second or the third set of African AFGRA, they call it. It's an AFGRA program.
Okay.
It was purposely to train Nigerian students at graduate level,
okay,
for them to return to their universities and train them and be the teachers. So we were screened. In fact, I was not even in the country when we were being screened. Okay. But fortunately, I left word with the African American Institute in Lagos that I'm still interested in the scholarship of America. In fact, it was when I was in Britain that I was offered the scholarship.
Wow.
I was posted to a university, but as fate will have it, while I was in Zaria, in my first year after graduating, I was not too far from Ahmadu Bello University department, and we used to have a professor from Lagos, Professor Duncan, coming to teach public health, that they didn't have any lecturer in ABU. So he was coming from Lagos, and he looked through the final year student projects, and he came across my project, and he asked the final year students, who is this person that had this project? And they say, it is me, Suleyman Adeyemi. He said, where is he? They say, he's right here in Zaria with you. So he asked them to call me, and he asked me, why don't I want to come and teach at the university? I said, I'm already in the railways. Well, and therefore no interest. He said, no, you have to be interested in teaching. And I'm going to assist you to get admission into an American university.
Wow. And
on his own, because he said he didn't have to be coming from Lagos. If you have someone like you should be able to go further and come back to ABU and be teaching them public health.
Wow.
So he arranged for he was able to tell his advisor that he has a very young, brilliant Nigerian that wants to read BSc.
Wow.
And so that's how he was able to get me admission to Johns Hopkins University. That's Baltimore. And then, of course, I was in the railways, I was in London. So when the African American Institute said, okay, now we're going to give you scholarship. And then I told them I've already got admission at Johns Hopkins University. They said, okay, we'll find out from them if they are ready, to abide by their own conditions of scholarship.
Wow.
That they must give us tuition waiver. And of course, readily the Johns Hopkins University, agreed. Wow. And so that's why I ended up at Johns Hopkins University for my master's degree.
Wow.
Now, you see, I was sponsored for this scholarship by Nigerian government, not by any of the universities in Nigeria.
Okay.
Where that there were two sponsors: the federal government, and then of course the universities, any of our universities.
Okay.
But because I was not in the country, I did not even seek any sponsorship from any Nigerian university. So when I did very well at my MSc level, and they said, "Don't you want to go further to do your PhD?" I said, "Well, my sponsor, which is federal government, only needed me to go and do masters. They didn't need me to go and do PhD. But unless if I had a university that was interested." And then on my behalf, they checked with the various universities, and it was University of Lagos that said, "Okay, we want somebody in this area," and so they would then, sponsor me. So that's why I had to go for my PhD. And at that time, you see, the Eastern universities, the East Boy universities in America, were not doing traditional engineering any longer. But the Midwest, the 10 states, Michigan, Wisconsin, Illinois, all these universities, Iowa, they were doing conventional universities. And I knew that as an African, I would still have to come back. If I want to come back, I will have to do basic engineering. So I decided therefore to move to a Midwestern university, that's University of Wisconsin, Madison, to do my PhD. I was able to complete my PhD there. And then when it came to after finishing, again, there was the option where do you want to come back to in Nigeria. Because at that time, if you look at it, it was, in fact, the urge to want to come home was there. In fact, things were better in Nigeria at that time, than even America.
Wow.
In actual fact, when I look at the salary I started, I was not to earn it in the US, because the naira then was so strong, was 2 to 1.
Wow.
A naira was, $2 1 naira. Wow. At that time. So then I had the choice of wanting to come to any of the universities. If they wanted me to come, then AB wanted me to come. But of course, I preferred ABU because my friends, that we were classmates that finished too, wanted to come back to ABU. So that's how I ended up in ABU. And then after spending some years as lecturer in ABU, then I came down to University of Ilorin. I moved down to University of Ilorin as an associate professor. So, and then from University of Ilorin, at the time they were needing a Vice-Chancellor for Federal University of Technology.
Okay.
At that time, they were looking for somebody in engineering, and I was the Dean of Engineering at the University of Ilorin here.
Wow.
So that gave me the opportunity and the advantage to be appointed the Vice-Chancellor of Federal University of Technology, Futminna. And after my tenure, I came back to the University of Ilorin, and then I decided, because one thing that you learn from America is the urge, to do whatever you want to do at any particular time. And at that time, I thought I could contribute to by, coming out to practice engineering, because the training in the US was very total. It was both academic and practice, because we were well equipped to either want to be doing research or to want to be to practice engineering. And since I've been in research for close to over 30 years, I said, okay, let me now retire to do practice. And that's why I ended up setting up a consultancy firm to practice engineering in Nigeria. And looking back, I think I have no regret other than to thank all God, that he guided me into whatever I was trying to do.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is quite touching, man. Fantastic. Yeah, I see. As the audience, as listening to him, I don't know whether you got what I got. That education that time was preparing them for both practice and teaching or research. Today, this will take us to the next question. But before I go there, briefly, were you able to fulfill that dream of railway at a point in time?
Well, you see, that was a fortunate thing. Railway was a federal institution.
Okay.
So also universities.
Okay.
So it was easier for me to now transfer my service from railways
Okay.
to the university.
Universities. Okay.
You know.
Well, fantastic. Now, the next question that I have with me is, go with your last statement where you are talking about your journey. How can you compare to this educational system? Especially, what were the things that you did as a Vice-Chancellor of Futminna that when you look back and see the education of present day, what are the things that have gone wrong? What are the things that, or was there any improvement, or we are going backward?
Well, let me say this. At their own time, which was a legacy of the British, who were being trained specifically to take over their functions of civil service.
Wow.
And so everybody was always looking to get employed by either the state government, the federal government, the multinationals. So that was the direction of the training, and that was the content of the curriculum. The curriculum did not teach us to be on our own. So that's why everybody after graduation, we were all looking for blue-collar jobs.
Wow.
Now, but Nigeria realized that even at that, we have to change our education system. You see, at that time, for instance, we spent 6 or 7 years in primary school, about 5 years in secondary school, 2 years in HSC, and 3 years in the university. And we were, in fact, the meaning of grammar school, at that time is the fact that you were even being trained to be a civil servant.
Wow.
So it was wise that in the 80s, Nigeria decided to change the educational system to 6-3-3-4, where you have the 6, for primary school, the 3 for junior secondary school, the 3 for senior secondary school, then the 4 for the university. But the purpose of that system is to introduce what I call technology at the secondary school level, or to put it better, to add to your education system where you can use your hand. And that was the purpose. And at that time, it was taken very seriously. I can remember Kwara State ordered a lot of intro-tech equipment
Under military government.
under the military government. And that was to enhance teaching of practical science at secondary school level, in such a way that if you think you are better off using your hand rather than using your brain, then you go in the direction of technology. And if you are a lettered person, then you go in the direction of and it was to allow people to move into practical engineering. In fact, you are supposed to live, if you have the bent for technology, then you go from from secondary school to a polytechnic. And it was a very good program, but it was not well executed. Initially it was well funded, but later on the funding was not there. In fact, it's like the understanding was not there. And that's why we are having problem today about our educational system. it will have been changed to be more pro-development, proactive than what it is today. But because along the line, lack of funding, lack of understanding by our leaders, is not has not made the education system to really be solid. Now today, I will not say the educational quality has gone down. It would have gone down if we, but for the advent of computer. If there is no computer technology, we will still be way behind today.
Wow.
But we are lucky that we are moved to the IT age, and therefore has assisted us to bridge the gap that we normally would have had if there was no computer technology.
Wow.
So because even in terms of teachers, in terms of lecturer, in terms of materials, we have opportunity because of computer age to be able to get materials, teaching materials, not from Nigeria alone, from all over the world. So that has bridged the gap, and that's why we are not seeing clearly deficiency in the education system.
Okay.
So I would still say students of today are better equipped, than even students of yesterday. Because in those days, you are reading to pass. There's no creativity. There's no thinking out of the box. But today, because of the challenges and the handy computer, our students are able to face a lot of challenges and be able to overcome challenges. So I will not say our educational system has gone down. I'm not with those people that say, our education system is in shatters. No, I think we are lucky. If we didn't have a computer, yes, I will imagine that. In fact, our education system will be so down.
Oh, good. But, because of the exposure to ICT and digital life, then we are lucky. Thank you very much, sir. This is quite revealing and so interesting that we are lucky. This is the first time, and I'm so inspired. I'm so inspired to hear that we are lucky with our educational system in Nigeria because of the exposure to ICT. Fantastic, sir. Before I go back to the audience, I want to ask this question: entrepreneurship education in Nigeria. Now, that's the advocate of every corner, and we realize that today the thesis, most people, the PhD student, the master's student, they, unless their publication is publicized in an international journal, they can get the promotion. And we look at their offices, the HOD, the deans, we see all the thesis gathering dust. And you see entrepreneurs out there saying that they lack ideas. And most people have done research, the first class brain genius. They have done research, submitted to their department to get PhD, to get MSc, masters, and nobody is even assessing it. There's this gap between academics and practice. But we are lucky to have you here because you have been to academics and you are in practice. You are an entrepreneur by excellence. And how best do you think the educational system can imbibe the spirit fully without paying lip service to entrepreneurship? I think that is the advocate of our time.
In fact, I think we are lucky that in the last few years, everybody seems to realize that we have to change our curriculum to really include entrepreneurship. Let me give you this example of Canada. In the 70s, in Canada, 80% of Canadians were looking for government jobs. Only 20%, were wanting to be on their own. But by the 80s, when the curriculum was changed in such a way that they were trying to produce job creators, not job seekers. The curriculum in the university system was changed to the extent that by the 80s, 80% of graduates want to be on their own. Wow. Only 20% wanted to be a civil servant. Wow. And so we have something to learn from Canada, and I believe we are beginning to learn it, that look, we have to include in our curriculum entrepreneurship, so that our graduates will not be thinking of looking for blue collar jobs. They have to use their creativity, their initiative, to really be on their own. That's the whole purpose of entrepreneurship. You see, when you add entrepreneurship to your curriculum, it means whatever you are doing, whatever you are being taught, you continue to see how you can get something that you can do on your own, as opposed to looking for blue collar jobs. In fact, to the extent that I'm praying that in the next few years, more people will prefer to be on their own than seeking government jobs. And I think that will be how we can then get this country to develop, because there are a lot of initiative, a lot of creativity that you will really unleash to national development, because everybody has his own capability, inherent capability, and if you don't have an environment where this can be exploited, a country will just be marching. Really? So it's quite pleasing that in the last few years we are beginning to appreciate the idea of including entrepreneurship in all our courses. There is no course that you cannot really create
something out of it.
Very well. And if you start very early, everybody will start from the beginning, from even primary school. Start to think that what I'm teaching, what I've been taught, I can use this way, I can use this way. And if you do that to secondary school and to university, I believe that at the end of the day, more people will prefer to be on their own than to seek for government jobs. So there will be more job creators than job seekers.
Thank you very much. There will be more job creators than job seekers. Please, round of applause again. Simply means that whatever you learned from school, definitely you can create something out of it and be part of the solution, rather than problem of unemployment. Complaining, I don't have a job. You are simply part of the problem. So, sir, thank you very much. At this point in time, I can see some people, they are giving me faces, just things that are hitching them, or they really want to learn and tap from the pot of the wisdom. We entertain a few questions.
Good afternoon, Prof. And we are very pleased to have you here today. In fact, it's a honor sitting with you and here listening to all the your past experience, your journey, your sojourn across the world, and your weight of experience, and actually impacting it positively in our Nigerian society. We are very grateful to God Almighty that you are still alive, and we pray that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide you, to elevate your life, and to give you sound health. We are very pleased.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I've actually listened to what you said, and I'm so enthralled. I've seen where we came from, and I hope that we are going to somewhere that's actually going to be beneficial to the world. Sir, I know you are from your background as an engineer. Every developed nation, and I believe when I also got into ABU, sir, I was fortunate to also pass through ABU. We had a dam that was actually generating electricity for the school. There was this research institute, there was later research institute in Zaria, another research institute. Now, the problem I have now is that, sir, we have research institutes by name today. And I don't believe there will be any development in Nigeria without research institutes impacting and guiding the development of the nation. What has changed, sir? And how can we correct that? That the research institute become more positively impactful on the Nigerian society. Thank you, sir.
Good day, sir. Thank you very much for your time here today. I've really learned a lot from your wealth of experience. But my question would come in line with our educational sector. Like I'm a young active citizen, so I've been fortunate to go to several rural areas for advocacies and community projects. But there's one thing I always notice: most of these areas, their educational system is literally, I don't want to say nothing to write home about. They have little or no access to education. Some places their education, the basic education, they sit on the floor to learn, while some places they don't even have anywhere they call school. And Nigeria today is 60. I don't think this should be one of the things we should still be battling as old as we are. Being in the educational line and with your experience, where do you think we went wrong, and what solution can you suggest to this problem that is eating into our educational system? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir, Prof, for sharing your insight and experience with us. As a matter of fact, it has been inspiring. But one thing I noticed is that then it's like Nigeria is an heaven, not like now. That is the truth of the matter. So, like, what is going to be your advice for the young generations who have no power and who doesn't have an influence, and at least who are at least ambitious and they want to get to a higher station like you? So, what is going to be your advice to such kind of person? Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, sir. I'm really grateful for this opportunity to be amidst you, sir. Yeah, my question for you, sir, is that I really have passion for academics. I would like to go into academics one day. But my greatest challenge has been that there's this notion about Nigeria of now that once you go into academics, the best you can do is probably just live an average life. How do I go into academics and fulfill my dream and as well be fulfilled? That's my question for you, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, in fact, the first two questions, they have the same solution, and that is funding. You see, funding, we have to fund research. In fact, the research fund for MIT or Harvard University, research fund only, is more than the annual budget of maybe 4 or 5 states in Nigeria. That is for just a university. So research, you need proper funding. And generally in Nigeria, you can see a government, there's misallocation of funds in Nigeria. Where we should lay emphasis, we are not laying emphasis. And whereas you cannot really develop if you don't fund research, because research is to solve problems. So funding is an important aspect of undergoing good research. Now, for the universities, they create a TED fund. Well, TED fund is an intervention in agency, but that's not enough. You need a lot of funding in research, whether in the university or in all the research institutes. There is no two-way about it. In fact, what is happening today is that annual budget of most research institutes is used for non-research purposes, because what they have for research is so meager that you really cannot do much about it. So research is an expensive thing, but it's very beneficial for a country to do research, because you solve so many problems. You make life easy for everybody when you research into everything that we require. So funding is important, and we have not given it the importance that it deserves in whether federal government budget or state budget. And until we do that, we cannot really get much from research. Yes, on access to education. In fact, the whole purpose of 6334 behind it is that education should be free for all Nigerian children up to junior secondary school. And we have not been able to achieve it because government is not allocating enough funds. If you, for instance, if you make education compulsory for everybody up to junior secondary school, then the entire society will be very educated. But because of lack of funding, in fact, regardless of what you are supposed to really undergo the primary and junior secondary school. So if we're able to achieve that by proper funding, then everybody will have access to education. And we are just mouthing it in Nigeria. We are not serious about it. And we have enough resources to make education free to all Nigerian children up to junior secondary school. And once you get to that stage and everybody is educated, other things will fall in place. People will find ways of where wants to go further, will find ways of going further. And education at that beyond that level is no longer the concern. It's no longer government funding alone. Everybody has to be involved in funding education beyond the junior secondary school. Parents, government, other organizations. We have to all join hands to fund education beyond the junior secondary school. So really, there's no reason at this level of Nigeria that anybody should not have anybody will not have access to education. In fact, to me, it's a failure of government. It's a failure of government. It's as simple as that. In fact, it's already in the educational policy of Nigeria that all children must be educated to junior secondary school level. If you are not accomplishing that, then we're to lay the blame on the footstep of government. So really, for your experience, in some places that you can see there is virtually no access to education, I think it's a thing that government has to take very seriously. There should be free education for everybody, and once you educate the populace, is a big advantage, to the nation. Now on educational development, like I said, the question is, being able to be in educational in academics and still be very comfortable in life. You see, we have a wrong definition of comfort in life. And overseas, you don't see several millionaires, even in America. But everybody has basic amenities of life. You have 24 hours of electricity. You have water running. Transportation, you have many options. You want to go by road, either by bus, by your own car, or by train, or by air. Now, if we're able to provide all these basic services, then what do you need to stack money in a bank for? So that is why our problem is really the fact that we have not made effort to provide the basic amenities for the generality of the people. You see, today, as an elderly person, you are the NEPA, you are the one supplying your own electricity, supplying your own water through borehole. Everything you are doing on behalf of government, and that's not where it should be. Government should provide all these facilities, and therefore, once you have the comfort of life, but that's comfort of life. then there's no need to want to amass wealth. You don't. I can give a very funny example. When I moved from Madison to from Baltimore to Madison, I had a Mustang. I was able to buy a Mustang because I was doing pay my salary in Nigeria, so I transferred to buy a car. So in the first day I would get to Madison, I just saw a place where I was seeing old cars. Oh, I said, well, this must be students like myself. So I parked there, and then I went to the office. By the time I got back, I was given a ticket. I said, I thought this is a students park. They said, no, these are professors park. Wow. And because the cars I was seeing were the 50s, 60s old vehicles. So, and as a young student with Mustang, which was more like a sports car, I had more beautiful cars than my professors. So really, in their own climate, there's nothing like, they don't need all this luxury. In fact, in America, you automatically have a housing. Even if you move, you don't move the house, you move and then get the house in the next place. So if we can solve the problem of housing, solve the problem of amenities, then there's no basis. I mean, there's nothing more comfortable than having all these things. And therefore, you don't need to amass wealth to be able to now provide your own water, provide so the emphasis for our government to provide these services, make it available to everybody. Then we will not need to amass wealth, because what do we need it for? So, okay, I think that was the first question. I mean, for academic average life, but I think I've been able to at least throw light that really what we regard as comfortable life is not available here, but it can be made available, and therefore will not amass wealth. You don't find an American having millions of or even thousands of dollars in their account. No, they don't. They don't need it. They don't need it because everything is available at average cost that your salary can maintain. So really, I think that the emphasis is government should try to do a lot to improve services in Nigeria. So that if it's available, if you have many options, then you will not need to amass wealth to be able to have this and that and that. The educational development, I was not too sure what was the question there.
No, the last question is that the powerless people that are quite ambitious, that want to be rich, want to be powerful in Nigeria. What advice do you have for the powerless that they think they don't have connection? What can they do to be relevant in the society?
Well, I think your contribution to society will determine your importance.
Very well.
And to me, if you are productive, if you are innovative, you will have impact on the society. And once you have impact on the society, then it's hard work to have impact on the society. It's not hereditary. You cannot say because my father was the prime minister, was the president, and therefore I had to be president. I think Nigeria should be a place where everybody has opportunity to make it, and that's very important. In fact, that's the fundamental philosophy in America. Anybody can make it in America. Nobody that is born king or born millionaire or born this and that. Everybody thinks they have the chance to become whatever they want to become. So it's now your own effort that can make you become what you really want to become. And I believe that even in Nigeria too, I know there are impediments, but I think we will continue to overcome those impediments, that the children of the poor can even become presidents of Nigeria. And when we get there, then of course, everybody has the opportunity once you work hard. So work hard is, to me, is the basis of greatness.
Thank you very much, sir. It's already happening, sir, because Jonathan said he had no shoe.
That's right.
And he became the president.
That's right.
So it can always happen. I thank you very much. We are so proud of you, and we're so excited to have you in our midst.
Thank you very much.
Quiet, revealing, and impactful so far. And as we can see, this is a time we call it to an end. But before then, I have just one question, sir. What advice do you have for our leaders and the youth, in short?
Well, our leaders must always appreciate and accept that they are they are to serve the people. They are to serve the people. Whatever they do must be in the service of the people, not self-interest. I believe that the crop of leadership we have, I think they are going to leadership role just because of what they want to acquire, and that's very unfortunate. Whereas it should be service to the people. And for the youth, I think, let us take it easy, slowly. We should not want to. It's a pity that some people want to be what I would call it, quick rich, and there's no shortcut. If you take your time, work hard, you become what you can become. If you move too fast, you can crash. So patience is very important, and people should know that every step you take, as long as it's in the right direction, you will achieve your goal. And there's no need to be too much in a hurry.
This is the time we call it a day, and you can subscribe to NasTv_Africa on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Now we are going to cut the cake and the mark 60th anniversary of Nigeria independence. Thank you and God bless. Now, to mark Nigeria's 60th anniversary and cut the cake, we are going to spell Nigeria. Ready to go? Nigeria.